Good afternoon. Happy lunchtime if it's your lunchtime. This is Savva from Savva Talks Spurs, and I hope that you are all well. You are all very, very welcome. And this is a chance for a Monday Q&A session. Find out. I mean, there's been a lot going on this weekend, and unfortunately in football, it's silly season, isn't it? It's that silly transfer market where every single player is linked with every single club. So what's been happening from a Tottenham Hotspur point of view? Get your questions in, get your comments. It doesn't have to be a question. Just get some comments on the board. What's your perception of what's happening? Which rumours do you believe? Which rumours do you think are a complete load of nonsense? Don't tell me about tier one sources. I don't care about all that kind of stuff. They get as much right as they do wrong. But let's start with Perisic, because this is the one that looks like it's nearly over the line. Let's have a look at this. For me, this is an absolute no-brainer of a signing. It's the type of signing that I've wanted Spurs to make for years. An experienced player in their 30s that can come in, that's a winner, that can lead the way and show by example. I think for years at this football club, we've talked about, he's too old and he's 40 and he's 35 and he's 29 and we don't want to sign them. But I just feel that you can't constantly have young players. You've got to balance that. So even when I hear like people go, the class of 92 and look what they won. Well, yes, the class of 92, but it wasn't as though when Neville and Beckham and that joined the Man United team, there were no senior pros to learn off. So I think that it needs a sprinkling of maturity across the squad. I'm not saying that some 30, 32-year-olds, 33, whatever Perisic is, are going to come in and play every game of the season. But it's that stature, it's that aura and that persona that they bring to a dressing room that I don't think that we think about a lot. When fans talk as though it's Football Manager or FIFA and they just want this player, you've got to balance it with some winners, with some mentality. Like when Spurs bought Edgar Davids to the club. Yes, he wasn't the Edgar Davids that we all fell in love with as a footballer, and he wasn't in his peak. But imagine going into the dressing room, being a younger player and seeing Edgar Davids sitting over there, been there, seen it, won it. So that's what I think Perisic brings. I think Perisic, we'll talk about him as a footballer in a minute, but when you look at this guy, he's played for Borussia Dortmund, he's played for Inter Milan, he's played for Bayern Munich, he's played in countless World Cups and Euros with Croatia. More important than all of that, he's known to Conte. He's played under Conte before. So for me, the Perisic deal is an absolute no-brainer. This is a guy that can play left wing back, left winger, left wide forward. He could play through the middle if he needs to, off the strike. That kind of versatility is something that this squad is crying out for. So I'm really, really pleased that deal looks like it's getting over the line. Hopefully, it's plain sailing now. I can't see that there'd be any issues at this stage, and that's a good bit of business from the club. So I just saw a report come through. Someone put on one of my WhatsApp groups, and it said Perisic is set to battle Ryan Sessegnon for the left wing back position. And I thought to myself, there's going to be no battle going on there. Let's be fair. If fit, it's going to be Perisic. He's much better than Ryan Sessegnon. But let's go to some of your comments before we go on and look at different players. Let's be fair. That's what this is for. So Golden Boots and said, seems like Bastoni deal gets done when Inter signed Bremer. Inter are close to an agreement, says Dan Kilpatrick. Yeah, it's the merry-go-round, isn't it? You know, you sign someone, so now you can let that player go. So, yeah, it's all very, very interesting. I would definitely like Bastoni. What I've seen of him, I think he looks a fantastic player. Big, strong, agile, cultured left foot, good in the air. Some of his passing out the back as well is brilliant. So, yeah, definitely. Lee from the Lane, hello sir, big up to yourself. Don't forget you are a moderator on my shows, so please feel free if you see anyone being silly. Yeah, and everyone wants centre backs. Yeah, they do. Also thoughts on the Perisic deal. Yeah, we're talking about that right now. Hello to Junior Richards, and hello to Coach Silver as well. Thank you for coming back. Perisic, a great signing. Even if he only does well for 1 year, he's worth it. Bump of K. I think this is where we need to get to. I think for years this club has focused on, well, can we get 5, 6, 7, 8 years out of a player? I don't think there's anything wrong sometimes with a bit of short-termism. Not everyone. You don't want to, I'm not advocating signing 7 33-year-olds, but as we said earlier, just that bit of, just that reputation, just that aura, that winning experience. Paul, yes. Hello, mate. I did just see your Instagram. I will come back to you shortly. Apologies. Let's have a look. Will his legs last the season in the Premier League? Time will tell. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't subscribe to all of this. Oh, but can players do it in the Premier League? Because the whole league is foreign. The whole league is foreign. Whenever I've seen Perisic play, he looks super fit. I don't understand this whole, can they cope in the Premier League? Lots of Premier League games I watched last year. The standard was so poor. It wasn't as hectic and as intense as everyone says, so I don't buy into that. Killer Collective, hi Savva, would you take Isco on a free? Would I take Isco on a free? Now, there's a question. I think the problem with Isco is, when's he last played? Like, when's he last strung a game, put a run of games together? At one point, he was one of the best young players in the world. And I remember watching him and Thiago Alcantara play for the Spanish under-21s at either a Euros or a World Cup that they won. They must have both been 19 or 20, and they bossed it. And Isco was just unbelievable. Look, a fit Isco, a focused Isco, sure. I just don't know what's happened the last few years. But listen, we don't have creativity, so I'm not one to turn my nose up at players. He is very fit. 33 years old, is 25, 26 now. Yeah, I'm not doubting it. I'm not one sitting here going, oh, he's old. I think we need some of that. Let's have a look. Who else has come in? So Jacko, Italian Spurs fan, does spaces on Twitter and said Perisic, one of the best wing backs in Europe, and cannot believe we have signed him. Look, I think everyone knows Ivan Perisic's capabilities, his qualities, his skill set. It's a no-brainer. Lovely left foot. He'll chip in with goals. It's great. It's great. A view from the South Stand. Hello, Marlon. How we doing, mate? I hope I was scouting in Barcelona. Yeah, there was no game going on when I went to the Camp Nou, but it was still buzzing around there. Lots of people there, but yeah, I don't know who I'd scout. I'm not sure who from Barcelona, unless it's another Emerson Royal wants to join us. Kelvin Fletcher. Hello, Kelvin. Do you believe players like Ward-Prowse and Spencer Conte signings? I have my doubts. I don't know. James Ward-Prowse. I think the thing is, I think the thing is with James Ward-Prowse, he's going to cost a bomb, right? Because he just signed a new 3 or 4 year deal, maybe 5 years. I don't know. He just signed a new deal a few months back. Is he a Conte type player? I guess all good players are players for a manager, right? But I don't know. Spence, there's a lot of hype around Spence, and I don't mind him. He looks decent, but I think everyone's going way overboard. Even in the Championship, he's not really, for a wing back that would be of such significance in a Tottenham team, he's not really scored or assisted. So looks good, looks comfortable on the ball. I'm not knocking it. If we sign him, we sign him. I think there's a lot of hype that goes with young English players. Stephen O'Connor, bringing status to the dressing room must have a positive effect, not only on the younger players, but also the likes of Kane, Son, and Lloris. Stephen, I can't agree with you more. I think that, Kane, Son, Lloris, these people must look around the dressing room, and what they don't want to see every single summer is just more kids signed. They don't want to look and think, oh God, right, okay, now we've got another year of bedding in. They want to look around and go, oh, hang on, there's Bastoni. Oh, hang on, there's Perisic. There's so-and-so who's played for 4 years in the league. So I completely agree with you. George, you want to compete, then you need to match the players the top 3 are buying, impossible as that seems. I think the key thing here is, George, is when we're talking about competing, and I think people are going way overboard already because of the announcement about money being pumped into the club. fans talking about title challenges, and we're going to go, someone was on here the other day saying we're going to go to the semis of the Champions League, win the league and win the FA Cup. And, when you think to yourself, well, first of all, we haven't signed anyone, so let's relax, right? So, second of all, it doesn't just happen like that. You don't just buy 6 or 7 players and win everything. There's adjustment phases. There's going from 1 game a week to 2 games a week against good opposition, the best opposition. There's Conte is now going to have to take a group of players that aren't used to winning to win. Players coming in need some time to settle. There's lots of different factors. So we'll see. I just think people need to just relax a little bit. Great to get excited, but let's see what we do first rather than just predicting we're going to sign 7 world-class players. Henry Wright, big up Savva. Everyone smash the like button. Yes, please. I would definitely be very appreciative of, I'm currently on, let me let you know what I'm on. I am currently on, where am I? Currently on 394 subscribers. If I could get to 400 by the end of the show, I'd be very appreciative. But also, please smash the like buttons. Smash the like button. George, good luck with the channel. Thank you very much, George. Much appreciated. Coach Silver said, even if we get 1 year and next year he is cover experience, it'll benefit everyone. A winner, absolutely. There can't be enough said about having winning mentality. It's why when companies go and hire people, not just about football, but normal companies, you want experience to go along with the youth. You can't just have lots of kids and hope that everyone's going to turn out like Gareth Bale did. It just doesn't work like that. And as we've seen in the last sort of 5-10 years, Dele Alli for 2 seasons apart and Harry Kane apart, who's come good that was young? Who's, who's gone on and kicked on to have a great career at Spurs? Walker, but very few and far between. Let's have a look. Lots of your questions coming in, so thank you for that. And you know me, I like to go through the questions. I believe that's what these shows should be about. I don't believe that it should be about just me spitting a narrative at you. I like to answer questions. Cheers, Savva. How can I tell if I'm a moderator? Great question. Let's take that offline. I'm not one for that. Henry, if you're in the chat, could you please let him know? Golden Boot Science. I think most importantly, the Perisic deal shows Conte is in charge. This isn't a signing Levy typically goes for, and we never make 2 signings before the window is even opened. I agree with that to an extent. I do agree with that. I'm guessing that's what Paratici and Conte have got to do. We can't have these signings anymore, which are all maybes, all a bit of hit and hope. So yes, that is a real positive. And let's just hope we can get some signings done soon. I don't want to be in a position where we're 2 months into the window and scraping around. Let's have a look. And a sport, Mr. said, would you take a player like Bonucci for a year to mentor younger players? Yeah, for sure. Listen, I'd take Chiellini and Bonucci all day, every day. Their experience is absolutely invaluable. You cannot, underestimate experience like that. Coach Silva has said, hoping the Bastoni rumours are wrong about him not wanting to leave Inter. I mean, look, this is why, Coach Silva, when like people tell me, oh my God, Savva's in the mud and Savva's not excited enough. And I just wait till it happens, right? It's all good us talking about it and that's cool. But lots of people saying it's done already. Other people saying he doesn't want to leave. And let's see. If we get him, we get him. If we don't, what's our backups? What are the other options at centre half? The Camp Nou or the Spurs Stadium, mate. Well, that's easy. For mod cons and for drinking beer that fills up at the bottom, I want to go to Spurs. For a stadium that's steeped in history with winning mentality and a place to visit, the Camp Nou. Would you take Sassuolo's Andrea Bellotti at Tottenham? Can I just ask? Sorry, I might be really wrong here. Is Bellotti at Sassuolo? I thought he was at Torino. Did he move? No, I wouldn't. I'll tell you why. From what I've seen of Bellotti, he looks like a very good centre forward, but not got enough mobility. And I think the next player we get in needs to be able to play in one of those 3 positions. But that's just me. But if Spurs sign him, fair enough. Would I take Koulibaly for centre-back role to replace Dyer? Napoli could be willing to let him go for a cheap. Absolutely. Everyone knows my thoughts on Dyer. He's okay. He's done a decent job this year. But you want to win things, you're not going to do it with Eric Dyer at centre-half. So Koulibaly, yes. I think he's had a dip the last couple of years, but there's definitely a monster of a defender in there. Coach Silver, Spence is young. We'd be one for the future, and I don't want this type anymore. We need for right now. Yeah, look, for me, for example, if we were buying a proper right wing back like Marley, and then having Spence as your squad right wing back, I'm all for that. I just don't know if we want to go into a Champions League season with this bloke as our number 1. I just can't see Conte asking Perisic and Levy to buy him Spence. I don't believe so either. I think he wants winners. He wants proven experience. And this is the thing. Fans for years have said, oh, it's good, this ethos we've got, and this is how we work, and this is our recruitment plans, but it's not worked. Whichever way fans want to look it up, you can talk to you about Champions League final or finishing second. It's not worked. It's not won anything. So let's change that up. And that's why I'm so glad Conte is at the helm. Now is this who you meant to say before? Berardi, all day, every day. This guy can play across the front 3, and he's got a number of goals and assists in the league. So I would definitely take him. I can't see any negative with Perisic. Yeah, I agree. I can't see the negative in signing Perisic. What's the worst that happens? He's on a free transfer. What's the worst that happens? We should sign another Kane and Son, to be honest. I mean, Ron, I think the thing is, as Spurs fans, I think we really need to start having that conversation, right? Is that these guys are what? By the end of this window, are they going to be 29 and 30? Now, obviously, it's not about replacing them now. But what's the succession plan? What does that look like? Who's coming in behind them? The same way that Liverpool have, right? With Mane, Salah and Firmino. Looks very much like that 3 is breaking up now. But coming in behind, you got Jota. Luis Diaz. They've just gone and got that young Carvalho from Fulham, who is a quality player. The Adama Traore rumours have been returning a bit recently. Thoughts? Do you know what? He's one of those. I feel like I should like him more. I like what he's about, but there's just no end product. Is he a right wing back? Is he a wide forward? I mean, for me, there needs to be more output. I guess Conte could turn him into a world-class wing back. I don't know, but I can't see it. Yeah, that's you. Sorry, I thought you did. Yeah, I thought you did. Aside from Dumfries, who's the best option for us at right wing back? I like that Marlow of Atalanta. I would take him all day long. Maybe PSG will give us Hakimi. What do you think? I'll take him as well. Quality player. Let's have a look. Savva, follow the blueprint of Liverpool. Clever signings are enough. No need to behave like City and Chelsea. Yeah, I do think that I feel sometimes this gets misconstrued. When you look at Liverpool, they've spent a lot of money in the last 5 years building that squad to where it is. They've also made some good money and they've done well, not knocking it. I don't take to this bashing of the kind of City and Chelsea bashing, because at the end of the day, those clubs did what they needed to do to get to where they are. And now, if you actually look at them, they actually self-sustain. And I know that sounds strange. People don't want to hear that. But if you actually look at Chelsea's model now, look how much money Chelsea make from selling these players. Like, didn't they sell Guehi for like 21 million or something? They sold Tammy Abraham for 30 odd million. Yeah, they keep doing it. They keep getting these youngsters, hardly playing them, selling them for 30 odd million. And yeah. Traore is awful. Okay, fair enough. Traore is awful. I don't think he's an awful footballer. I just think it's end product. Good response. Thank you. That's nice. It's always nice to get a bit of praise. Right. Who has subscribed? Who hasn't? And who hasn't hit the like button? Can we please get some subscribers and some likes? That would be lovely. Thank you very, very much. Okay, Coach Silver has said, oh, hang on, there's loads of messages coming in. I can't believe my stalker's not here yet. I'm sure it will be in a minute, trying to say something about my mum or something. I don't know. The Premier League pushes because Conte said he wanted to be challenging for it. Some of our fans gone overboard going to an... Yes, I think this is the thing. There's a difference between us saying we want to win the league and everyone getting overly excited. Yeah, I think there's a huge, huge difference. Hit the subscribe button, people. Yes, Lee from the lane. Thank you very much. Hit the subscribe button. So I'm just checking a few stats. Sorry, 1 second. Coach Silver, Aditya said back to Coach Silver, I agree with you, but trust me, Spencer is very good. He is top quality youngster. He ain't Clark or Roden. Believe me, Savva, my take. Again, I've seen him. He looks a good footballer. I'm not knocking that. I'm just looking and thinking he's not blown me away. So when I look at, if we're talking about a right wing back to come in and play in a Champions League team, have I seen enough from him going forward, goals or creativity? No. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't have him. I just don't think he should be the big hope. Do we sign a good forward to compete with Kane? I think we sign many players to compete all over the pitch. For me, I've never bought into this whole let's not get a striker to sit on the bench. For me, managers like Klopp make it work. You have 4 or 5 players that all kind of rotate across those frontline positions. That's what I think we should be doing. I don't think it should always just be like for like. I can't think of many good right wing backs we could sign. Maybe Male. Yeah, that's who I would take. I think he's brilliant. Ultimately, it will be who Conte wants, right? Just in from George Bannister. No William repeat this time. Hashtag Perisic. Okay, good. That's what we want. Henry Wright TV normally is the spanner beside my name, but it's not there. But I'm sure. Okay, right. Sorry. Okay, right. See. I'll just put it out there right now, guys. I don't buy into when I hear, oh, Matt Hayes has said this and Dan Kilpatrick said that and so. I don't, you know me by now, guys. I don't buy into it. Normally, this information is flying about everywhere and they package it and sell it in a way that they want you to read. And that's cool. I've got no beef with any of those people. Do what you've got to do, but I just don't hang my hat on it like a lot of people do. Too many people hang their hat on every word that these journalists say, and they convince themselves that they're tier A, tier B, tier C. It doesn't really mean anything. Fake rumours will get a timeout. Just kidding. Okay, Aditya says, Savva, we are lacking homegrown players. We really need to sign Spence, Maddison, James or Prowse kind of players to qualify for the quota. Suggest good English players to sign. Maddison, for me, is an absolute no-brainer. Maddison is a no-brainer. I'd love Conor Gallagher. Can't ever see Chelsea doing business with us. Other English players. Well, you're getting Fraser Forster, who's going to be another English player. Players like that I would take all day long. Other than that, are there many English players that I would want that are gettable? You know, there's a lot of English players from the England team that I would take, but that are at better clubs, right? They're competing. Let's have a look. People are complaining about Perisic's age. He's been outstanding this season and played loads, 49 games. Spurs fans sometimes go out of their way to Dave, I agree with you. For me, the age is not an issue. If he's fit, if he's a pro, great. He's a quality player, and as we said, it's more than that he brings, isn't it? Guys, come on, hit the subscribe button. This is stingy now. I've only had one whilst we've been streaming, and we've been streaming for 23 minutes. Where is the love, people? I take my lunch break to do this. Let's have a look. Jordan Ianson, Mr. Ianson, you are telling me. What about Conte changing Emerson to a backup striker? Can't be worse than Vinicius. I'll be honest, mate. I don't want to see Emerson Royal in a Spurs shirt in any way, shape or form. No, I know what you mean. I know you were joking, though. Yes, I thought, Belotti is Torino. Yeah. I think this is correct. I think, look, there are players like Belotti that will work in a particular system, right? So maybe if he played for Leeds where they just play with the one up top, then yes. But I think where we don't really play that way anymore, do we? So I can't see that he would work with us. Is it Torino? Yeah, come on, guys. I thought my knowledge was on point for that one. Give me some credit. Dave Raybold. I know, mate, never satisfied. We have, for me, a world-class player and still killing it at top flight. Okay, Tolisso on a free from Bayern. Yeah, I like Tolisso from what I've seen of him. Somebody will tell me, hasn't he had a lot of injuries? I'm not saying that's always the be-all and end-all, but I would take him. Would you take him, Mr. Ianson? Would you take him? Lee from the Lane has said, spot on, Savva, players for the now. Yeah, it's about time we got players for the now. We can't keep bringing in kids. I don't want to keep hearing that players need 3 years to settle. I don't want to keep hearing that they're young and they're going to come good and stop writing off young players. At some point, you've got to buy for the now. Coach Silver has said, all this excitement about buying this player and that player, the window doesn't open until the 10th. Perisic having a medical. Yeah, look, Coach Silver, for me, I think, listen, I keep my feet on the ground. I like to think with all these potential signings. Over the years, I've seen so many signings that they're definitely happening. Alistair Golder said it's definitely happening. Oh, it didn't happen. So it's like, let's wait and see. I'll get excited when they've got a Spurs shirt on and we can start looking forward to watching them in pre-season. With the 5 subs allowed in the Prem next season, I could see Adama being very useful, to be honest, but I understand why people are sceptical. Yeah, he's definitely a player that splits opinion, and there's nothing wrong with that. As I said, I like everything he does until that last moment, that last bit. I mean, I've seen him skin players for fun. I've seen him bully players for fun. But it's when he then gets in that box, there's got to be some output. Can Conte get out of him? It's one of those, isn't it? If he signs, Conte could do wonders with him. And all of a sudden, now everyone's going, oh my God, he's one of the best players in the world. Also, it's one of those where at the moment, he's nowhere near. So it's a tough one with Adama Traore. Would I take Cucurella? Big fat, yes. He's a very good left wing back, up and down, very comfortable on the ball. He's got that kind of foreign technical ability that lots of English players don't ever seem to have. So yeah, I really like him. I think he's been a real standout this season. For experience and an option off the bench, would you not take Bale? No, I wouldn't take Bale because the bloke his heart's not in it anymore and he's never fit. Now, this isn't just someone who's had a few injuries. This is someone who is never fit. I saw somewhere the other day that for club and country, I think he's made 5 appearances this season. Lots of people from in the club said last year when Jose had him, he was never fit. He couldn't play for longer than 60 minutes. We saw a number of games where, yes, he made some goals happen against the likes of Burnley and Palace, etc., but he couldn't run. For me, I think we've got to stop flogging that one now. I think he's gone, Gareth Bale. There's a difference between being fit and not, and he's not. And I've got it on good authority. The same bloke that told me 2 years ago that we were signing Bale when Fabrizio Romano 3 days before had said it's impossible for a deal to happen, he said on Last Word on Spurs. Impossible. So my mate is friends with him and has said that and he's allowed me to say this, by the way. He has said that Gareth Bale is playing in the game on the 6th of June for Wales against Scotland. If Wales beat Scotland and go to the World Cup, he will sign a 6-month contract with Cardiff City. And he will be paid by 50% of the shirt sales the club makes. And then he will retire in December after the World Cup. If Wales do not if Wales do not beat Scotland, then apparently Gareth Bale is going to retire now, like in 10 days, and look at his own business ventures. So make of that what you will. But this is the same guy who I know I'm friends with, who's friends with him, that told me what was happening 2 years ago, and people came on my show and hammered me for trying to be in the know. I don't know anything, just what I've been told, and this information is normally correct. So let's see if that happens. Where are we? Lots and lots and lots of chat. Feel free to chuck players in there. We'll talk about those players. We've had enough frustration with the likes of Mella and Mora. Fair enough. No to Bale. Waste of money. It's just, it's just gone now. That ship has sailed. I want to remember Bale from 2013, 2014. I want to remember those wonderful years he gave us. I don't want to remember a bloke that can't get himself fit and on the pitch. Aditya has said, Savva, not bashing those clubs, but Chelsea owe money to Abramovich. City and Chelsea have been bankrolled without giving money back. Such models aren't possible with British and American owners. Such models are possible with any owner if they want to put their own money in. Let's call it for what it is. If they want to put their own money in, they can. They could have done it, but these owners did. But what I'm saying is now, if you actually look at Man City, for example, when Man City, if you look over the years, the players they've sold, they make money back as well, and so do Chelsea now. So yes, they got the leg up, they got started, but look, there's no right or wrong way to run a club. As a football fan, if we had been bought out by Sheikh Mansour all those years ago and it's sitting here with 5-6 Premier League trophies, FA Cups, League Cups, would we be complaining? Ask yourself that truly, would we? And the same people that want to belittle those clubs are the ones that have just got really happy because apparently ENIC are going to put in 300 million. See, we can't have it both ways, right? You can't want money to be ploughed in, but then belittle clubs that have had money ploughed in. It just doesn't work like that. Spurs fans have the right to question every signing. It's been pretty woeful for years. Daryl Denton. I completely agree with you, Daryl. We definitely have the right to be sceptical. Our problem is any striker who has a good season abroad suddenly is worth 60 million off and they flop. Going to be difficult to replace Kane and Son. Yes and no. For me, Coach Silver, this again comes down to scouting. How do Liverpool do it? How does City do it? How have Chelsea done it over the years? Man United before recently. Arsenal before recently. Good scouts will get you good players that are ready to go. The problem is there's too many. It's about getting. For years, we've not really had an ethos, a style, a way of playing. So we had no players to come in and kind of fit those molds. Now we have an ethos with Conte. So as long as he stays for the long term, then we know what type of players to go and get. Conte is the reason we will get good players, to be honest. Well, of course, yeah. They're not coming here because we're serial winners and challenge, are they? They're going to come here for that guy. Leah said we can get enough signings this window to make a big impact, but it will be far from where we want to be. We buy right this window. It was set up for the future. Correct. Baby steps. Baby steps. And that's what we should have been doing the last 10 years. Baby steps. Give yourself a window that allows you to go, right, we've reached this platform. Then every other window, you then start chipping in. Just chipping in a few. Not 5, 6, 7 every window. 1 or 2. Really good players every window. And slowly the deadwood's going. The better players are coming in. Building. That we haven't built for ages. So we should be spending huge money on a striker this window. Núñez is my first pick. I think it all depends on the way Conte wants to play. I mean, if you're bringing in Núñez, does he fit into that style of play? I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying, does he? How does Conte want that to rotate with Kulusevski, with Son, with Kane? But yeah, Núñez is a very good player. Oh, look, here we go. Oh, guys, we did so well. Guys, we got 33 minutes before I was called a pedo. Terry Transplant has called me a pedo. This is very good. Thank you very much, Terry. You are more than welcome. Let's have a look. GB, tell fans what they want to hear, not what's going on. Not that he is a scoring anyway. Sorry, I don't. Who's GB? Sorry, am I being silly? Okay. Let's have a look. Terry Transplant. Oh, God. Let's get rid of this Terry Transplant guy quickly because this is not what we want the show to be about. We just want to talk about football, and everyone was doing that nicely until this guy. You think that guy, by the way, is this Terry Transplant? This Terry Transplant guy, if it is who I think it is, this is a guy in his 50s. Just let that sink in. That's a guy in his 50s coming to troll me. Wouldn't ever turn up at my house, though, would he? The traditional number 9 is dying out. Wingers are now forwards. There's a lot to be said for this. Yeah, there more and more now. When you look across Europe, there aren't many big men. There aren't many out and out number 9s. There are players that can play across lots of positions and interchange and false nines, etc. And I think that's the way it's going. It won't always be like that. Football goes in cycles. It will come back. Football goes in cycles. Same with fashion. Everything goes in cycles. I've already subbed. Show some love, people. Yeah, show some love. I think that would be really nice. Since I last asked 10 minutes ago, I have not had a single sub. That is very upsetting. Let's have a look. Savva needs to sort out these mods. I don't understand. Look, Terry Transplant, please. Look, I don't know if you have any issues with me or whatever's happening, but look, everyone here just wants to talk football. So if you've got an issue with me, just message me privately. I've always said that to anybody. If anyone's got any issue, just message me. But we don't know each other, so I can't believe there would be any issue to be taken. That is the last I will be talking to you. Let's now ban you. Daryl Denton. Right. I just can't understand. Coach Silva, you're a coach. You earn minimum wage. No need for that sort of talk. Coach Silva, good. Cardiff, a good move for him. If not, he will be a golfer. Yeah, look, for me, clearly the love's gone from the football. It is what it is. It had to happen with a man with that type of injury record. It had to happen, and I think fans are clinging onto him coming back because of the name and not because of what he can actually do now. And this bump of K is correct. Look at the shift Kulu puts in, and people want Bale back. I think surely now there's so many players across Europe that we don't need to go to an unfit Gareth Bale that he hasn't played over 30 games since the 2015 season. That's a lot of seasons without playing over 30 games. Lee from there said, Taliso on a free now. Yep. Listen, definitely sort of players I'll get in. Let's have a look. Loads of questions in here. Loads of comments. Is there really big money signings out there for us, or are we spreading our finances? I think we'll spread our finances, George. That's only my opinion. I think we'll spread our finances. I can't believe we're going to go and suddenly start buying 4, 5, 50 million pound players. Right wing back Fodo from Shakhtar. I possibly seen him play in passing, but can't say I know of him. Whenever I watch Shakhtar Donetsk, though, they always play some good stuff. They've always got always got loads of Brazilians, haven't they, over there? But I'll definitely see if I can get to watch him play. Richard Knight, hi, Savva. Fans get too excited on journalist rumours and speculation. Don't believe until they're holding the shirt. Richard, as I said, in my WhatsApp groups, I get messages coming through going, oh my God, look what Alistair Gold's just said. Look what Matt Hayes has just said. It's playing to the audience, right? If I came on here and went, guys, I've just heard that we are signing James Maddison, 60 million, it's being agreed next week. Yeah. Everyone wants to hear that. Forget James Maddison. It could be whoever. Everyone wants to hear that. So they like it. Oh my God, this guy's reliable. How often do these things come true? Like everyone's known Spurs wanted Perisic for ages and Bastoni. These aren't in the nose, are they? I think everyone knows. Who is the worst player you've ever seen play for Spurs in your lifetime? Emerson Royal, without a shadow of a doubt. Makes me sad that he puts on a Spurs shirt. Terrible footballer. I want Basuma, but 6th of June, police decision would decide if anyone bids for him. Yeah, look, what I don't want to do is get into a political conversation about what's going on off the field. If all was right, I would definitely take Basuma if all of the rest of the stuff was clear. He is a fantastic central midfielder, knows the Premier League. It's a no-brainer. David Clark says, sorry, Dodo. Okay, I'll have a look at Dodo or Fodo. We'll call him whichever one, David. It doesn't matter, does it? Let's have a look. We've been linked to Alan St-Maximin as well. Would want him or Adama Traore at the club. I wouldn't want them. We've had too many flashy wingers with no end product. Yes and no. I think with St-Maximin, I think that he's a quality player that's played in a very poor team for a very long time. But for me, I just don't think you can have too many. I think I'm not saying we're going to buy hundreds this window, but I think for too long, we don't buy enough players. We don't have enough option. For too long, if Son and Kane aren't working out in a game, we don't have anything to come off the bench and change that. If Son or Kane are injured, we play them through their injuries rather than having some players to step in. I always think it would leave a bad taste in my mouth if we done it like City and Chelsea. Liverpool done it the way it should be done. But again, Liverpool spent a lot of money. This belief that they've done this amazing thing, they've done well. They've done very well, but they're spending big money the same way Spurs spend money. Golden Boot son, you would love it if we spent 300 million this window. Then that would make us like the others, right? Just chucking money at it. So I don't understand, fans, what do we want? We want to buy better players, but then any club that spends money and buys better players, we don't like it. What is it that we want? I think everyone's going on as though Spurs are, just because we've not done it in any way. We've had no success because we don't spend. Everyone drop a like if you ain't going to find many better Spurs channels than this one here. Bumper K, thank you. I just try and keep it real. Hearing we have 2 new signings this week after Forster and Perisic. Any thoughts on who it will be? I mean, no idea. No idea. It's just a silly season. As I always say to everyone, it is silly season. Everything's just one big merry-go-round, and it's never going to end until we get to the last day of the window. And even then, people will go mad and lose their mind and blah, blah, blah. Savva, I'd take their trophies anytime. My point was they are sports washing owners who don't care about profits. They just want success to win. Okay. You say that. Have you ever done your homework into Joe Lewis and his business affairs? That's all I'm going to say. Before we make out that we're wonderful, our owners are certainly not angels. Not many of them are, hence why they've got the money they've got. 4 straight from Sarah. Okay, yeah, see that. Would I take Yannick Carrasco? Yes, I'd take Yannick Carrasco. Very good footballer. Again, versatile, good player. I don't say no to good players. I feel like football fans turn their noses up at good players for fun, as though we've got a good squad. In the Ferguson era, they made mistakes, but get rid of players immediately, even if it costs them millions. For sure, David. Spurs are brilliant at holding on to Deadwood. We've become the masters of holding on to Deadwood. And Don Bale ain't Celso. I mean, they've been here 3 years now, and neither of them have done a thing for this club. Clark, Sessegnon. How long did it take to get rid of Lamella? Winks. Lucas has been here forever. Do you know what I mean? It's just Sanchez. These players come and they never leave. Gareth Bale. Yeah. Been doing some research. Only reason Conte leaves the club is if they don't back him. If we continue to back him, he'll stay more than usual, 2 to 3 years. That's the hope. We can only hope for that, Coach Silva. And I think that's all any of us have ever wanted, is for a manager to be backed. No one's talking silly money. No one's talking £100 million players. But back a manager. Stop all of this and Kudu and G, Sessegnon, Clark, Royal, Collini. Stop all of these signings. Silly signings that top clubs don't make. We've got top midfield target should be Basuma and McKennie. Lots of talk about Winston McKennie. And again, another one that really divides opinions. Seen him play a few times. Looks good. Does he suit a Conte formation? I don't know. It's not for me to judge that. I don't know him well enough for that. But yeah, there are good players all over. All over. Let's have a look. Football is like fashion. It all comes back in the end, and I'm pretty sure strikers will be back in the next few. Bump of K, that's it. It will all look soon. 4-4-2 will come back. Football goes in cycles. I remember growing up, the Italian league was the best league on the planet. For anyone of my age or slightly older, will know that. When Gaza went to Italy, that era of football was epic out there in Italy. Then it sort of come back, and it was a mixture of Spanish football and English football, and unfortunately, the Italian league is starting to recover now, but yeah, it's starting to it's starting to come back, but it's been poor for a while. Let's have a look. If they want to engage, they will have to subscribe. Yeah, I don't ever really want to be that guy. I don't want to force anyone to subscribe to me. I just like to think they would do it. Okay, let's have a look. What's not okay? Crossing the ball has been so poor over recent seasons. Everybody here, he's back. Robert Hills, Savva, are you still getting people banned from their jobs? We all know your past. Oh, good God. Good grief. What is wrong with these people? Let's block him. Apologies, everybody. Sometimes I don't get to see the messages till they filter down at the bottom. It does make me laugh. I just can't believe how sad this man is. And do you know what? It got so bad I had to get the police to go around to this guy's house because of how much he was harassing me and abusing me. And then when he went there, he claimed that he didn't know who I was. So you do have to laugh. Let's have a look. He'll be back. I'm sure, guys, he'll be back in a minute. Right. Let's get back to football. Yusuf Attal at right wing back. Yes, take Attal. Yep. There's not many, are there? There's not a million right wing backs that I would take. But if you're going to play the right wing back formation, then you've got to hope that your scouts are good enough to go and get it done, right? And they've got to find them somewhere. Lots of players. Okay, so Jed Spence, Bastoni, Perisic, Ericsson, Basuma, Nunes. Would you be happy with this window of players coming? Yes, absolutely. Yes, I'd be very, very happy with that. Attal was good. Not sure how he's done last season. Yeah, I think that's the difficulty, isn't it? It is. What I do want us to do, though, is get away from, as a fan base, we're very good to go, oh, we didn't have the best season. But top clubs monitor players for years. They don't just do it off of one season. And that's the mistake we've made with players in the past, like the Ngis, like the Nkudus, yeah, like the Fazios, the Capues, and I could go on and on and on and on. Aditra said, I would love McKennie, but we are lacking homegrown players. Need to sign some English players. Maddison or Prowse? Listen, I'll take both. I absolutely take both. I think they're both going to cost you north of 50 million, unfortunately, for English tax, right? That's the problem. Would we take Maddison? Of course. We have zero creativity in this football club. Maddison would be an absolute no-brainer. Yeah, thank you. I've just had 2 more subscribers, so thank you, whoever just subscribed. It really is appreciated. Hi, guys, it's Mad Darla. Yes, Ian, hello, sir. Big up to you and to Darlington. This is completely wrong. If you think Soldado is a worse footballer than Emerson, Soldado couldn't score goals like he did in Spain. Many different reasons. When he played for Valencia, he played in a 2 up top. When he came here, he was up front on his own. It just didn't suit him. But you could see he was a good footballer. To say Emerson is a better footballer than Soldado, sorry, mate, that's just baffling. That's really, really baffling. David Clark, Basuma's goal is 100% behind him, so he is clear and we should go and get him. Right, if that's done, go and get him. As I said, I don't care about all the political stuff. Look, I've been around long enough, and look, I've got people on here that, come on here and try and mug me off 5 years after things happened. So innocent until proven guilty for me. And unfortunately, we live in this era where people are so intent on putting others down. Let's be fair. Whatever happened between me and this guy in there, I won't say his real name, was 5-6 years ago over the internet. And yet still he comes back 5-6 years using a fake name because he's too scared to approach me, using his fake name because he's too scared to man up a little bit. And they want to belittle people. And unfortunately, that's what we want to do in society. I don't want to get all political with it, but we want to judge everyone as being guilty until they actually been found guilty. It's a real shame. It is a shame. Matt Hayes, good luck to him, but he knows no more than us. Ali Gold only knows what the club... Right. Listen, I don't know Matt Hayes personally. I've got nothing against Matt Hayes. He probably doesn't know me. I don't really know him. But what I do know is if I've ever seen snippets of his work, everything's amazing. This is happening. I know this information. And then most of it never happens. So it's kind of like, again, as I said, that's cool. People can, everyone's living their own life. Everyone's living their own journey. Everyone's got their own issues. I've got no issue with Ali Gold or Matt Hayes or any of them. But for me, it's just not real. It's just not what I want to watch because I just look at it and go, you don't know this. You don't know this. Let's have a look. Liverpool weren't nothing until they spent £60 million and £75 million on Virgil van Dijk, etc. It's all absolute fantasy talk. This is the thing. You know, we talk about Liverpool as though they've gone out and done it by buying £5 million players. I'd love to know if you added up Alisson, Virgil van Dijk, Matip, Konate, Keita, Fabinho, Thiago Alcantara, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Minamino, Diaz, Salah, Firmino, Mane, Jota. I'd love to know how much all that costs, because everyone's going on as though they did it with £50 million. Liverpool's money is from actual success and big sales. Liverpool owners rarely put their own money into the club. I just don't believe that that's true, because they've spent so much over the years. Bump of K, it's like a moral victory for Spurs fans to slag off money clubs. It's pathetic. This is what I mean, Bump of K. Why we're so worried about doing it the right way. And I heard this 10, 12, whatever years ago when I was in a group on Twitter called Leaving ENIC Out. This is all people came back with. Oh, well, we're doing it the right way. Problem is, we've not been doing it, have we? We've not done it. Now, what makes me laugh is all these people in here going, oh, we're doing it the right way. They've chucked money at it. These are the same people last week celebrating, saying that we're going to spend 300 million this summer. You can't have it both ways. You can't. You're on a moral dilemma with yourselves there. You can't say, oh, 300 million, go and buy Bastoni and this and that and the other, and then go, oh, well, hang on, I don't like it when Man City and Chelsea buy these players. That's the problem with signings. It's the not knowing. Conte can only hope whoever he brings in, it's the ground running. Absolutely. And you've got more chance of that if they're experienced pros. Alan Saint-Maximin is frustrating to watch in my opinion, but not headless chicken in my opinion. He plays with poor players. Who will he pass the ball to at Spurs? He will enjoy passing. It's just, again, look, we've seen it before, right? Sometimes top players move to clubs. It works. Sometimes it doesn't. At the end of the day, the club will make that decision. Does he fit in with our ethos? The club will make that decision. If he comes, great. He's exciting. Gets you off your seat. Can't remember the last Spurs player who got me off my seat, per se, but I would, whatever they want to do. I don't really have a strong opinion either way on him. Joe Lewis made his money in one day on Black Wednesday and he's not about to lose it. Yeah. Listen, all I would say is, David, for people who don't know, when they're talking about Chelsea's owners and City's owners, go and have a look at ENIC and what we do and the way we hide money and all that kind of, it's that's why I don't care about it, right? I'm a football fan. I don't care about, oh, we're doing it the right way. The right way would have been in the last 20 years to have won some trophies, had some success. Ditcher says, Savva, yes, Lewis is a prick. I agree. He must have done the wrong things on an individual basis, but he is not part of any regime of war crime, which is significant. Yeah, look, Ditcher, I'm going to be honest. I don't really want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm here to talk football, right? I think once we start going down the rabbit holes of geopolitical impacts, there's nowhere to come back from. So kindly, I'm going to move on and let other people discuss that. Trying to learn my lessons in life, I'm afraid. Would you take Wirtz? Yeah, for sure. He's class. I think he got a really bad injury, didn't he? I think he did. Am I right in saying that? But yeah, he's a very good player. Very, very good player. Very exciting. The signs are there with Levy allowing these players to go at a loss to get them off the books for Conte. Yeah, you've got to get rid of them. I don't care what it costs. You've got to get rid of these players. You are not going to recoup the fees we paid. Big up, Savva. Remember, we've got Ndombele coming back. Oh, why did you have to remind me of that? I don't want to see him play for Spurs again. Interesting. Bump of Ken Maddison over Nkunku. I think they're very different players. My question would be both. Imagine both of those in our squad. Now we're talking. Out of some of the strikers that have played for our beloved Tottenham, from Berbatov to Foe, Keane, Klinsmann, Kane, Lineker, who was your personal favourite and who do you think is the best? So my personal favourite, I loved the partnership between Sheringham and Klinsmann. It was just telepathic. It was short-lived. They only had that year together. The best in that lifetime has got to be Kane from an all-round perspective. The best footballer of all of them was Berbatov, without a doubt. His touch, his technique, his control, his composure. Listen, loved Robbie Keane, loved Defoe. Some great players there, some really good players there. People just don't get the fact that wing-back is a modern concept, meaning there is no such thing as a wing-back, just wingers or full-backs adopting the position. I think if you look at a lot of the right wing-backs, left wing-backs recently, they have been, like Chilwell was a left-back for Leicester, right? They didn't play wing-backs, if I'm not wrong. And then he went to play left wing-back. Let's have a look. My wife's family from Portugal has seen a lot of Nunes. He has potential, but needs a lot of work and not worth 60 million being quoted. Okay, fair enough. Let's have a look. Yeah, I agree with you. I think as a footballer, he was very good. It just didn't work for him in front of goal. Not lots of different reasons, right? As I said, whenever I watch Valencia play, they kind of played the big man, little man. And Soldado's job was literally being in and around the box. When I watched him for Spurs, he was running the channel, trying to hold the ball up, and it didn't really suit him. But there is not a chance that Emerson Royal is a better footballer than Soldado. Soldado was in the Spain Euro squad before we talk about Emerson. He was just not clinical. That's it. His ball abilities were decent. Yeah. Yeah. Let's have a look. Sissoko has to be up. Sissons has to be up there. Or Sissoko. This is boring now. So I never backed out of meeting you in person. The police never came round. Calling people bosses up is very childish, and hiding behind the police shows who you are. Okay. Robert, listen, as I've said to you, look, mate, I've moved on. I don't know who you are, your real name. I've moved on. If you don't want to move on, that's fine. But why do you need to come back in? All these people don't care. All these people, these things you're saying happened. Everyone's heard it. And I think aren't we just getting bored of doing this all these years later? Are you not bored? Like, I don't understand who you're trying to prove anything to. As I've said to you, message me on YouTube afterwards. I'll happily meet you and we can discuss whatever is the issue. But things that happened all those years ago, I mean, just let it go, my friend. So much has happened in my life since then that these things aren't important to me. I've realized what's important, and that is not it. So I'm sorry that you feel that this is a really big deal for you over the internet, but it's not real. It's not real. Let's have a look. Coach Silver said exactly. YouTube is full of people who want to be the next big influencer. Let's face it. Anyone that has inside knowledge, they wouldn't be trusted after spilling the beans. Look, yeah, absolutely. That's why, I think these sort of platforms are for us to talk about football, not for us to pretend we know loads of things that are going on. But they're the people, and I saw Henry saying this on his show last night, they're the people that will have the most followings because it's the most positive, because it's what people want to hear, and that's how they make their money. For some people, it's not about the money. It's just about wanting to talk football. And, a lot of time and effort goes into these things as well. And I just don't think it should be ruined by people. I just think it needs to be censored better. Anyway, we digress. Yes, big £6. Thank you. Smash the like button, people. 50 likes minimum. Absolutely. Ginola or VDV, last ones to get you off your seat. The last one to properly get me off my seat with Gareth Bale. Before that, Ginola. He was something else. Something else, that man. And the younger fans of today will just look at stats and they won't realise that Ginola played left in a 4-4-2 and in a very bad Tottenham team and still won double player of the year. That man was an absolute joy to watch. He really, really was. Richard Knight said, Savva, too many fans get concerned about costs of transfers. It doesn't matter if they're 50 or 30 or free, as they're right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. We get so hung up on, I wouldn't pay 70, I wouldn't pay 60. Look, if the club want to pay the money, the club have got the money, let's go and get it done. Like, as a Man City fan, do you really care that you paid 100 million for Grealish? You don't care. It's not your money. Why are fans so concerned about, it's like everyone's an accountant. Let's have a look. Saint Maximan is not my number one pick. Rafinha over him anytime, but I'm just saying he is not bad as many people think he is. No, listen, I agree. I agree with you. I don't think he's as bad. I think if Rafinha's going anywhere, it's going to be Barcelona. Fair play to him. Great content. Opinions on Perisic aid. Starter. Starter, absolutely. You don't bring a player like that in to sit on the bench. Starter. I think someone just put earlier, he's played 48 games this season. That's a lot of football. Hey, Savva, Bastoni looking unlikely now, which is worrying as he was Conte's primary target. Look, as I said, this is why I don't get overly excited about anything that I hear come out. Do we want Bastoni? I've got no doubt we do. Is it going to be easy to get him out of Inter Milan? I've got no doubt that it's going to be difficult. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Let's take it from there. So I personally am not a fan of this German tax hype. Havertz was highly praised as well. His OP ain't that good. Wirtz is nothing like Havertz. Wirtz is very good. And Havertz has actually had a good season for Chelsea, if you look. I think you've got to remember how young he was when he came. He's grown into it. But again, we just want to knock everyone. Let's have a look. I've supported Spurs since 61, so I've been lucky enough to have seen Nicholson, Birkinshaw, Venables, and now Conte. It's a shame you lads have not had my experience. I've seen two of those. I've seen Venables and Conte. Birkinshaw was just slightly before my time, and Nicholson was obviously much more before my time. But yeah, I hear you. I get your drift. If you could take one player from Real Madrid, who would you take? Vinicius Jr. All day long. I think he's a really good player. Vinicius Jr., I also really like Camavinga. I think he's a very good central midfielder. And I think those two have got a great future with Real Madrid. I think Camavinga will slowly come in and start replacing Cruz and Casemiro and Modric. Not all three of them at once, but you know what I mean. And Vinicius Jr. has had a brilliant season. Showed at the weekend. Great player. K-Show has said Nunez for 60 million is robbery. This is why it's all about. Let's have a. Soldado couldn't hit a barn door for the price Soldado came in for his worst. Yes, but son, you're not listening. You said who's the better footballer. As a footballer, Emerson Royal can't control a football or pass it 5 yards. Soldado struggled in front of goal, like many people have in the world. But who's a better footballer? It's not even a discussion. Emerson Royal for me is an absolute clown. He is embarrassing to watch. Sorry, I would love to see us give Bradley Dack from Blackburn a chance to run our midfield. Listen, I like Bradley Dack whenever I've seen Blackburn play, but was the point of getting into the Champions League to go and buy players like Bradley Dack? I don't think it is. I feel like we need some ambition here, don't we? Guys, I'm only going in until an hour and 15 minutes, so I've got 13 minutes to get your questions in. Let's have a look. Savva, don't buy into the BS about the right type of owners. These people are shit scared. Someone called Mohammed will buy the club. I'm not even getting into that conversation. On Sarr, what's your take, Savva? I don't see what he brings. Listen, I've seen Mets play a few times this year, and I've made a point of watching them when they're on Sunday mornings because I wanted to see what Sarr was about. Now, whenever I've seen him, he doesn't stand out. He looks neat and tidy. But again, another one where I look at it and I think, why did we buy him? What was the long-term plan? Or was it just that he was available? You got loads of kids telling you that he's generational, whatever that means. I don't know. Look, he could come in and be the best player we've ever bought. But from what I've seen, there's nothing that makes me want to see him in a Spurs shirt. David, I think this is an interesting one, the whole stats conversation. I think stats play a part. I think they are a cog in the wheel of the discussion, right? But when people purely use stats, I don't think it works. I think sometimes it's a very much an Americanism thing to do. It's everything is stat. And I think sometimes you can look at far too much, right? You can use these to know if a player's been good or bad or whatever. I don't need a stat to tell me that a player made 0.6 ball recoveries in his own half. And when that starts coming in, expected goals and things like that, it's just ruining football for me. Richard Knight said, if you think Emerson is bad, what about Pascal Chimbonda? I would take Chimbonda over Emerson Royal all day long. Emerson Royal, I can't say it enough. I just think he is awful. I think he's won a prize to be a footballer for the day. George, off topic. Which team do you think will win the World Cup? Well, first of all, don't be sorry. It's a football chat. We can talk about whatever we want. There's no rules. Who do I think will win the World Cup? I don't know. Can I be honest? I haven't given it any thought. Let me come back to you on that. I haven't given it any thought at all. Should Conte leave? I would also like to see Felix Magath given a chance to lead us. I don't think Conte's leaving, so that's probably one that we don't need to talk about. Lee has said, prepare for the Twitter meltdown over Bastoni, saying he wants to play for Conte, but he's happy at Inter. Look, as I said, this is why I just don't go in with all the hype, Lee. Do you know what I mean? Everyone throws their eggs in one basket, and there's podcast shows saying Bastoni's signing, and it's like, well, just let's wait for him to sign and then have that chat about him. But no one wants those adult conversations. They just want the hype. They want the sexy glamour that goes along with it. Let's see. If Rafinha is so great, why was he dragged more times than any player in a poor Leeds side? I mean, yeah, I don't know the stats on that. I don't know the data on that. But look, I like Rafinha. Yeah. I like Rafinha. I don't know. Is he one of those that only plays well in a good team? What's his attitude like? I don't know. Havertz is unreal. He's football Bitcoin. I don't know what that. Sorry, I don't know what Bitcoin is. So I work in it, but I don't know what that means. But okay, yeah, that's why we never get overexcited. Unlike Hayes, Cheese Channel, Irish Hotspur. Look now, but look, I think at the end of the day, I don't believe it's happening or it's collapsing until I see something. Right? I just think so many people have just got really, really, really overhyped about a player that's not signed yet. Now, I think he's a top quality defender and I want him to sign, but let's wait for him to sign. And I know that sounds like a party pooper, but I can't get excited about players that haven't joined Tottenham yet. Let's have a look. What about James Tavernier from Rangers? To be fair, he's the only player from Scotland I would take. Will they go for him? I can't see that they would. But he's had a very good season and he's had a good career. So not a bad player. I don't think Conte would go for him, but he's not the worst right wing back in the world. Arsenal fans mocking Perisic's age when Silva transformed Chelsea's defence at 37. Yeah, for me, age is a number, right? I'm more worried about players' fitness. That's why, like, Bale's younger than Perisic, right? But he's never fit. Yeah, just... Let's have a look. Had some amazing creative talent. Hoddle, Wadder, Gazza, Eriksson, and nothing since. We need to get someone in. Also seen Barca have many problems again. Can't sign players. Yeah. Well, Barca are paying for the sins of their past, right? And for having the really bad president that ran them into the ground. But yeah, that's what I want. Look, a lot of the younger fans, Coach Silva, they wouldn't have seen Hoddle, Waddle, Gazza. They would have seen Eriksson, but they didn't see these players, the Ginolas. You know, I remember, going down to watch Spurs every week when Ginola was there, and Spurs were crap. We were like 11th in the table year in, year out. And he just got you off your seat. And you knew, even if Spurs were going to lose, you knew he'd do a few things in the game that make you go, wow, that's what I paid to see. And I want that back. I want somebody that does that. I'm not talking about Son and Kane do good things, but Ginola was just silky. Like, just the skill oozed out of that man. Let's have a look. Sorry, it's stuck there. I'd take Valverde. Yeah. So look, I mean, if we're talking about how many players would I take from Real Madrid, most of them, right? But I just thought you meant like one or two. But I like Valverde, good player. They got lots of good players. I remember Birkinshaw, we used to win things. Yeah, winning things. It's gone out of fashion, hasn't it, winning things? If Dak was that good, he would have been signed by now. I mean, there is always that argument. Some players develop later. I like Bradley Dak. I don't know if he goes straight into a Spurs squad, though. I think that's a bit of a reach. No, we're going to the Champions League, not the Championship. I think that's probably about Bradley Dack. Do you think it's strange how we didn't put a buyback clause in the Markandale deal? Also, thoughts on Madueke? I like Madueke. Yeah, I really like him. I take him. Look, the club really couldn't have rated Markandale that high, right? I mean, let's be really honest. He's gone down to Blackburn. Fair play to him. Go and make your career. Go and do what you need to do. But I'm not surprised there isn't a buyback clause in there. I don't think he's gonna. I think he'll have a decent career, but is that really what we want to be looking at? Let's have a look. You don't even know about Soldado. He was brilliant in Spain, but Austria coach played inverted wingers who cut inside to shoot when Soldado was a target man. This is what I mean. There's always different things to look at. It's like when Shevchenko came to play for Chelsea. Shevchenko was used to playing in a two-man forward line. All of a sudden, he's playing for a team that play inverted wingers at Chelsea, and he's being asked to run channels and hold up the ball. If I'm Shevchenko, I want someone feeding him in the 18-yard box. That's all I want. Thank you. I try my best. Let's have a look. Dak, no, we need better quality. If I only ever looked at stats once, I'm pretty sure I rate a player. Let's have a look. Soldado was never a target man. He was a poacher. Most of his goals came from inside the box. Yeah, that's the thing. So Soldado was a player in and around the area. And whenever I watched him play for Spurs, he was having to go and run the channels, and it didn't fit. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world if a player doesn't work out. But saying that Emerson Royal is a better footballer than Roberto Soldado is just embarrassing. Will was banging on about percentiles on Henry's show. What does that even mean? I only saw bits of the show. Well, no, look, Will's someone who's big into his data. So it depends what he was talking about. Listen, Will, if he was on here, would tell you this is where he and I disagree on things. I don't go in with that. He does. But Will and I agree on a lot of other stuff. And you know what? Will tell you the same thing. It's okay. It's okay that we disagree. It doesn't have to be all or nothing or, oh my God, you're in the mud and all this. It's okay. It's okay to disagree. Spence is really good, Savva. I've seen him play a few times. He looks good. He looks accomplished, but I've not really seen there wasn't a huge amount of output for a team that got promoted where he's meant to be the star player. I didn't really see a lot of output. Argentina winning the World Cup. I mean, Messi swan song. Who knows? Let's have a look. The stats thing has come from America. I love American football. Stats are not relevant. Listen, I don't mind stats when they were used for basics. Like stats used to be, as a striker, I've played 50 games, scored 34 goals. And you go, good stat. Or I've played 30 games and I've got 12 assists. Now it's just stat for stat's sake. There's too many stats. Would you sell Gil if we got like 70? Yeah. Again, neat, tidy, could be good in the future, but I don't know where he fits in. I don't know what was the thinking behind signing him. I've got nothing against him. I'm not writing him off. I just don't. What was he bought for? Savage, you live in Tottenham area in England? No, I live in South London, I'm afraid, my friend. I live in South London. I'm not in North London. Good call with Argentina. If you're watching, I will call you when I finished on here, mate. It maximizes traction if you use Bastoni is signing on Twitter, YouTube. What do you mean by that? So if I put out that Bastoni is signing, then everyone's going to flock to watch me talk about Tottenham Hotspur. Look, that's cool. That's not me. Yeah, I will put out a post. I will put out a show with the title Bastoni signs for Spurs. Do you know when I'll do that? When Bastoni has signed for Spurs. Yeah, when there's yellow breaking news, Bastoni agrees 5-year contract. Not before. Been burnt far too many times, and I like to keep my feet on the ground. Until a player is photographed in the Spurs shirt, chill out. Bang on, David. Okay, if you're going to be silly, I will just remove you. What's my favourite band of Salt? What a really weird. Bastoni ain't collapsing. Inter have to sell him when they sign Bremer to balance the books. I mean, Look, this is the thing, right? Everyone's got their own theory. None of us know the ins and outs of it. And this is why when you people come on and tell me, but Alistair Gold has said this, and Dan Kilpatrick said this, and Romano said look, you hear different stories from everyone. Oh, we do. Oh, hang on. Let me just go through some comments before we leave. I try to get to everyone's comments. If I haven't, I do apologise. I do try to. Yeah, what Bob Spurs said. Yeah. Big up Savva, mate. You lot need Jed Spence. Man, he is young and has more value. Listen, I'm not. If Jed Spence signs, I've got no problem. I've got no problem with it. If he doesn't, I've got no problem with that either. I agree, but there is no credible sources just that Bastonia agree personal terms. I mean, when you say credible sources, I just don't believe any of them. Ardiles on their mud pitches. Yeah, Ardiles was different gravy, right? Son and Kane are efficient, ruthless guys. Ginola was a true artist. Yeah, I mean, very different players. David Ginola played on the left wing for a start. Son's a wide forward and Kane's a centre forward. And I would have loved to have seen Ginola in this team. If Ginola was playing now alongside Kane and Son, he was just something else. Let's have a look. George, interesting one. I don't know about everyone else, but getting top four might be harder to achieve. Of course, I can't believe that the league is going to be as bad as it was last season. I just can't believe it. 5 more minutes, guys, then I'm off. Again, why are you worried about our books? When did fans start worrying about our books? What's that got to do with you as a fan? Right, Rovers, last chance. Stop being silly. What's my favourite berry? I've no idea what. Let's have a look. Savva, mate, love how you're an objective Spurs fan because some of your fans get jizzing their pants. Look, I think this is the thing. I've been here and seen it and done it. And first and foremost, what I would say is, Noah, is top four is not a trophy. So I've always maintained and I've always said top four is a platform to grow. So if we use that as a platform to grow, great. But I don't celebrate finishing fourth. Lots of people just go mad about it. Okay, it's good. It's fourth. There's still 3 teams better than you. Now, how are you going to kick on? How are we going to kick on and get third? How are we then going to go to second, right? How do we kick on? Happy birthday, Coach Silva. It's my 49th birthday today. I was just watching highlights of my first full season watching Spurs, 1980-81, Hoddle, Crooks, Archibald Villa, Ardiles, and Roberts. Yeah, look at that list of names. Just class. Regarding Tielemans, you can have him. He's been so poor this season. Okay, Wayne. All right. I mean, didn't he get the same stats as last season? Or has he just been poor in general? Stats are lazy. Just use your eyes and your brain will do the rest. David, I do agree. I mean, as I said, stats for me, I want to know how many goals a striker has scored. Right? I don't care about ball recoveries. I don't care about how many completed crosses in the final third in the last 90 minutes of the season. I don't care about all that. Let's have a look. Savva, do you think Forest will go back down? Yep, 100%. Sorry, it's there's a golfing class, isn't there, between the two leagues, and depending how much money they've got, depending if they lose Brennan, Spence, let's see what happens. Let's have a look. I really do need to go. Yes, I am 5 subs away from 400. Can I please ask, in the next 2 minutes, before I go, in the next 2 minutes, please, can I just get 4 subs? Anybody, even if you hate me, would be great. Let's have a look. Okay, so in regard to the books, it's an important thing you have to sort out. There is a reason why clubs have to sell players to balance books. Perisic on 100k a week worries me despite his talent. We're not on the same page at all. Horses for courses, but listen, I'm not an accountant, and the club earns a shed load of money. So I really, really don't care about the books. The club will manage that. That's what they've got accountants for. Daniel Levy is never, ever going to let us get into financial trouble. That's what you've got to remember. Rooty Toot said we're trying to compete with the top 3 and play a Champions League with win a domestic trophy. It's mad. We need so many new players to have a strong enough squad. Of course we do. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I think we need as well. Right, guys, listen, I am going to wrap up. I'm on 399 subscribers. Who's going to get me one more? Can someone please put their hand up and just say they've just subscribed? One more sub would make me very, very happy. Guys, you've been an absolute pleasure as always. Thank you very much. We've now got to 401. You guys are really, really cool. Listen, I will be on a stream. I'm not sure next Wednesday. I'm doing a stream on Wednesday with Tapping Tobes. So him and I are going to go head to head with our questions. And Tapping Tobes and I, listen, I've got a lot of respect for Tobes. We don't see eye to eye on everything, so it'll be interesting. But again, a good guy, and we don't all have to agree. So listen, keep up the good work. Keep sharing and liking. I really do appreciate it. And listen, all I ever want to do is just chat football. So apologies if there's some trolls who come in. I think they're getting better. There's always going to be that one troll who wants to tell people things I've done from the past. That's fine. I've made peace with it. Lots has happened in my life since then that makes all of these things just inconsequential. I hope that some other people can find peace in their life as well. And listen, stay safe, be good. And anyone who wants to interact, just catch me on Instagram or talk to me on YouTube afterwards. Much love. Peace out.